And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We're hanging out inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios, and I'm so happy to be here with you for the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour, NFL Week 13 of the 2025-26 season. This is Turkey Day week, folks, and I am so ecstatic to be bringing this to you as we have 3 games on Thanksgiving. Of course, the Lions and the Cowboys always play on Turkey Day. And Green Bay will take on Detroit. Kansas City will take on Dallas. These are arguably some of the best games we've seen for Thanksgiving in a long time, as well as Baltimore going to be at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. So 3 games here to set up for Thanksgiving. Very, very much looking forward to this. The Lions always play first, then the Cowboys, and then the night game is going to be this season. It's going to be a matchup in the AFC North between the Bengals and the Ravens in Baltimore. So we have that Lions game where the Lions always play at home, the Cowboys always play at home, and then a few years ago the NFL added the rotator game to get other NFL teams in to Thanksgiving. So this year it's Cincinnati and Baltimore. The Black Friday game that they started a few years ago, that's going to be Chicago at Philadelphia. This is another game when it comes to Thanksgiving time that gets more teams involved than just having the Lions and the Cowboys. Then we'll head into Sunday and all those matchups, and then we'll get to Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. The great thing about this week, Turkey Week, is that there's not a single team that has a bye week. So no more bye week here. We're going straight in to every one of the 32 NFL franchises playing here on Thanksgiving week, which I'm really looking forward to. So with that being said, we are proudly presented for this Fantasy Football Power Hour by the Wildcat Sports Pub, where you can watch every single one of these games simply by going to 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. You can also get takeout and delivery by calling the number 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222 for the Wildcats. So make sure that you do that today. Let them know that DT sent you their way. And of course, make sure that you go out to Great Lakes Honda City. We're inside of the Great Lakes Honda City studios on Wake Up Call every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we are proud to have them as our exclusive studio partner. It is the only place that I've gone to for my vehicles for over a decade. That is Great Lakes Honda City, the former Honda City of Liverpool, and you can get to them by going to 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You can also get a sneak peek of all their inventory and their end-of-the-year deals by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. So, now that we are fully into our Thanksgiving week, I do want to let everybody know that Wake Up Call will be off for Thanksgiving. So, I used to want to work on the holidays and all this, and I was like, wait a minute, I want people to be home with their families, enjoying time with them. Like, why am I not doing the same thing? So I will be at home with my family, enjoying some time with everybody. So I hope you do the same thing. I hope you relax and spend some time with your loved ones and just, get away from everything, take a little break, and have yourselves some fun on Thanksgiving. So we'll be back on Friday. We'll be back on Black Friday. So you can watch and listen. I always tell people, I go, watch and listen to Wake Up Call when you're standing in line buying all that stuff that you woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get. I said, I will be your Black Friday buddy. That's what I'm proud to do and happy to do. So make sure that you tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora wherever you are on Black Friday, whatever shopping you're doing, and whatever that day entails for you. Make sure that you spend it with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we appreciate everybody that does for sure. So let's get into that first Thanksgiving game. As always, if you have a question, send it to us on our feeds. I can let you know what those are. I mean, you're watching and listening on them, but just in case you need a little refresher or you want to share it with somebody, we are on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So if you're going to write in a question to us, make sure you send it to the video or the audio feed so I can actually see it and respond to it. Because if you don't send it directly to us live here, I may not see it, and I don't want to miss your question and then not have that question answered for you. So make sure that if you have a question, you send it over to us. We already have some questions that came in. So we have Keenan who sent us a question, and I just want to let Keenan know here to make sure, and to everybody that's watching and listening, make sure to subscribe and to hit that notification bell. A lot of you are with us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our shows, including all of our fantasy content. And on our YouTube channel, just so you know, I have a ton of playlists. So within our YouTube channel of over 5,000 videos, I group them into categories so they're easy to get to. We have a fantasy football playlist so you can go back and watch our shows. So Keenan said, would you trade away Javonte, Franklin, and Bowers to get Jonathan, I'm guessing JT is Jonathan Taylor, and Sutton and Gadsden? Would I trade away Javonte, Troy Franklin, and Brock? Well, listen, Brock Bowers I love. I'm a big fan of Brock Bowers, Keenan. So I like Brock, but here's the thing. He's on a really not great team, and I don't trust the Raiders to get him the ball consistently, unfortunately. So, I mean, in Troy Franklin, Javonte, I like Javonte, but you'd be getting Jonathan Taylor, Cortland Sutton. So you're trading away Troy Franklin to get another wide receiver for Denver in Cortland Sutton, and I like Aronde Gadsden. So, Keenan, I would do that trade where you get Jonathan Taylor, Sutton, and Gadsden. I mean, I like the trade because you're getting Jonathan Taylor. So, and then the other thing is my running backs are Kyron, Jacobs, Javonte, Wilson, Corum. So you have Kyron Williams and Josh Jacobs. Okay, and you have Basil Tootin. Your wide receivers are Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, Lamb, Franklin, Watson, Godwin, Reed on IR. Okay, so yeah, I'm good. I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm good with that, Keenan. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. But nice question. Great way to start off this Thanksgiving edition of the Fantasy Football Power Hour on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and the Power Hour proudly presented by the wonderful team at the Wildcat Sports Pub. So let's get into this Green Bay-Detroit matchup. If you have a question like Keenan, all you have to do is send it in to us, and I'm happy to answer those questions as they come in. And so just make sure that you follow and subscribe to us and hit that notification bell. But happy to answer your questions as always. And so as we get into this and break it all down, let's go to Green Bay going up against Detroit. I love this matchup because it's a divisional matchup. So it gives us something really, I like when they do divisional matchups on Thanksgiving because you give us a game that has weight. Like you give us a game that has value. This is a game that could really affect a lot of things coming down the stretch. So I love it. I mean, you look at Green Bay, and Green Bay's been the definition of an enigma. I say that year in and year out because they continue to be that year in and year out. So they're the definition to me of an enigma. And being that definition, when you look at Green Bay, it's like, well, what team's going to show up? But in reality, when we're talking about what's going on with Detroit, they've been an enigma this year too, right? They've been that team that you think like, this is a Super Bowl caliber team. And then you look at them and you're like, well, really? So, I mean, that's something that I'm looking at right now is, who is Detroit? Because Detroit hasn't been that team that you can really lean on. They haven't been the team that looks like they're a Super Bowl caliber team. They look good at times, but then at other times you look at them and you're like, what is this team and what are they doing out here? So, I definitely see two teams that are consistently inconsistent. I probably wouldn't, it's Thanksgiving, it's a rivalry game, so he may play up for this game. You can consider playing Jordan Love, but I'm not going to have him at the top of my list But I'll tell you what he's done recently here, when we're taking a look at it. So Jordan Love at this point in the season, and they just beat the Vikings 23-6, but let's go back to the Lions game. They played the Lions first week of the season, and the Lions lost this game. People think, okay, that's atypical, and then the Lions have lost a bunch of games this year, but they lost the game 27-13 at Green Bay. Now Green Bay's at Detroit. Jordan Love, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 16-22, 188. Josh Jacobs had a touchdown on the ground. Romeo Doubs led the team with 68 yards on just 2 catches. Jaden Reed had a touchdown. Tucker Kraft had a touchdown. Josh Jacobs caught the one pass that was thrown to him out of the backfield. And for Detroit, Goff had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was 31-39, 225 yards. So he did more through the air. Montgomery and Gibbs were halted. This is a great 1-2 punch, arguably the best 1-2 punch at running back in the NFL of 32 NFL franchises. And they were held to a combined 44 yards, Montgomery and Gibbs. Laporta led the team, 6 catches, 9 targets, 79 yards in that game. Gibbs caught 10 passes out of the backfield, all 10 that were thrown to him for 31 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4 catches on 6 targets for 45 yards. Montgomery caught the 4 that were thrown to him out of the backfield, and Jameson Williams caught 4 out of the 5 that were thrown his way. So when we look at this game and we look at what the team did last time, Green Bay, Jordan Love, you're going to Detroit. This is bragging rights. If Green Bay gets both games over Detroit, this is going to be terrible for Detroit stepping forward here. So I don't like how this looks for them by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm gonna say, in my opinion in this game, am I gonna lean on Jordan Love? No. If you play him, I'm not gonna be completely against it. I'm gonna call him like a mid-range QB1 because I think he might. You might see him play even better with this being a Thanksgiving divisional game. Josh Jacobs was limited. Keep in mind it's a short week. So when he's limited in practice on Tuesday, they're playing on Thursday, and they're the first game. They're playing at noon. So Josh Jacobs, that might be something to look at. Emmanuel Wilson, you might want to flex him out. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, those are the best bets that you have in this game besides Luke Musgrave because Tucker Kraft is injured. So if you're going to play anybody from the receiving core, I'm going to call Doubs a wide receiver 2. I'm going to call Watson a wide receiver 3. I'm going to call Musgrave, I'm going to call him a mid-range tight end 1. But the ones I feel best about in this matchup would be Romeo Doubs and Emmanuel Wilson and some love for Jordan Love, pun fully intended. And I think Christian Watson might have himself a game. On the other side, I'm not opposed to playing Jared Goff in this matchup. Right, he's got to get back. He did well in the first game, 31-39, over 200 yards passing, but he did throw a pick. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, I know they didn't have a good game in the first go-around, but I do like them in this game. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like Jameson Williams. I'm going to temper my expectations of Jameson Williams, but with so many guys injured in the receiving core and almost every single tight end injured, you got to throw to somebody other than Amon-Ra. So I'm going to flex out Jameson and say that Jared Goff might be throwing to Amon-Ra, Gibbs, and Montgomery out of the backfield. So those are the guys that I like in this matchup. The next one that we have coming up here for you is also going to keep us on Thanksgiving in this Thanksgiving trifecta. So the next Thanksgiving game that we have to talk about is going to bring me to that Kansas City-Dallas game. This is a great game, right? It's great for Kansas City. It's great for the NFL because of Kansas City's support. The fact that this is a team that's built a dynasty, in my opinion. I think you can call it a dynasty, right? Once you win 3, I think in short order, I think you could start saying the word dynasty. So I think they definitely have one. And, they didn't really look like themselves at the beginning of the season, but now they're starting to look more like Kansas City, where Buffalo looked like Buffalo, and now they're starting to look less like Buffalo. So it's interesting how this has happened, where you got the Buffalo Bills not looking great, and you got Kansas City maybe trending upward at this point. And I think they're playing they're playing a Dallas team that had started the season in multiple games scoring at least 40 points at home, and then Arizona stopped that and beat them 27-17 on Monday Night Football. So how do I feel about this game for the Dallas Cowboys? Not great. Yeah, I don't feel great about it, because in Galaxy, I saw your question, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I'll answer that question in just a second, coming from Galaxy Pickers. I like the name, man. I think the name is pretty cool here that you got for yourself. But yeah, I mean, when we're taking a look at what's here and what is being offered in this matchup, I think it definitely leans on the side of Kansas City. I'd like to see Dallas play well. I'd like to see Dallas be strong. I'd like to see Dallas make this a game, but I'm not going to rely on Dallas that they're going to do any of those things. I mean, I'm hopeful that this game doesn't get out of hand, but it very well may. And so, I mean, let's go into Kansas City since they're considered, well, not considered, they are the road team. So let's take a look at the road team first here on Thanksgiving, and then we'll take a look at the Dallas Cowboys. So as far as Kansas City goes, Pat Mahomes, yes. Isaiah Pacheco is back. So he's cleared for the Thanksgiving game, which is good because Brashard Smith hasn't done anything, which is sad. He's coming out of SMU. I wanted to see him do some good stuff. But I like Pat Mahomes in the game. Hopefully Brashard Smith can do some good things, though. I like Pat Mahomes. I like Isaiah Pacheco. I like Rashee Rice. I like Travis Kelce. Xavier Worthy, I'm not as high on as I was, but I'll give him a little bit of love here. I'll call him a low-end 2, high-end 3. He might have himself a wide receiver 2 type of day, but I'm going to flex him out just to be safe. But yeah, I'd say Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and I got some love for Xavier Worthy. On the other side of it, I'm not trusting Dak Prescott, but I like Javonte Williams in this matchup. So I'm going to give Javonte some love for sure. And outside of Javonte, I would say CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. Sad thing with George Pickens being on the injury report is if he's not a go, and he was limited in practice with a knee injury, limited on Tuesday. Again, it's a short week, folks. So, you got to look at what Tuesday truly means at this point of everything. But I'm hoping that he can get himself out there. If he can, then George Pickens is a guy to look at. But for right now, if he's unable to go, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, and Javonte Williams. Let's do our third Thanksgiving game. This is the rotator game where anybody can play. And like I said, I love that they do this because the Lions and the Cowboys play on Thanksgiving, and that's tradition. But there's, if you're not playing the Lions or the Cowboys, you're not getting out there. And I didn't think that that was fair. So the fact that we now have a rotator where we can see anybody play, that makes it fun that the NFL can go through and show love to these other teams and get these other teams out there. So, and I love this game because, again, of the 3 games we're seeing on Thanksgiving, 2 of them are divisional matchups. And ironically, 2 of those 2 divisional matchups are in North divisions with the AFC North Bengals at Ravens and the NFC North Packers at Lions. So let's go to that Bengals at Ravens game. We'll go to the Bengals first, since they're the road team, and then we'll go to Baltimore. So taking a look at Cincinnati and Galaxy, I'm going to answer your question right after we do this Thanksgiving game. So thanks for hanging tight with us. I appreciate you, and make sure to subscribe and follow. So Joe Flacco. Now, Joe Burrow expected return. We're supposed to potentially, I want to take a look at what's going on with Joe Flacco right now or Joe Burrow, pardon me. Because I'm looking at one report, and I feel like I saw something else, and I want to be accurate. So he's cleared to play in this game. He's been cleared to return in this matchup, speaking of Joe Burrow. So, I mean, it's up to you if you want to put him out there. I don't trust it. So I'd be looking more at Chase Brown, Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is on the injury report. So he's out for this game with a concussion. God willing, he'll be back next week. So that gives some more to Mike Gesicki and Andre Iosivas. So maybe you want to go with those guys as flex guys. Gesicki is, well, I don't know. I mean, I'd call him like a mid-range tight end this week, mid to low-range tight end. But I like Jamar Chase and Chase Brown Burrow, it's up to you. If you have team quarterback like we have in my leagues, which I think is an asset, you get Burrow and Flacco. So whoever plays, or if Burrow comes out and things aren't feeling right and they take him out and they put Flacco in, you get both. But if you're playing where you have to draft the quarterback and Joe Burrow doesn't do well and they replace him with Joe Flacco, you don't get Joe Flacco. So I think team quarterback is the way to go, just to let you know for future leagues. And if you're planning to create a league yourself, that's what I would look to. But yeah, I mean, the way that I see this is if you get team quarterback, then maybe it's worth putting Cincinnati out there. If you don't, then you might want to hold off on doing that. But I like Chase Brown. I like Jamar Chase. On the other side for Baltimore, and they're at home, I like Lamar Jackson. I like Derrick Henry. I like Zay Flowers. I'm going to call him a wide receiver too. And Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I've been talking about this all year. I like them both. And in reality, it's great to have them both because then you're not playing against one of them. Just like when you look at fantasy and you might draft a guy and not even play him, right? Put him on your bench. But like there was a year where I had Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And people are like, why would you do that to yourself? I said, because I'm taking 40 to 50 points, 60 points off the board of anybody that goes against me. So, Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, they both caught a pass, and they both had 3 thrown to them in the win over the Jets, 23-10. So I don't know if I'm putting either one of those guys out there and trusting them in fantasy play. So we're going to take a step aside before we go to the Black Friday game, but not before I answer the question from Galaxy. So let me get into his question that's here. If you have a question, send it to our feed directly so that we can take a look at it and I can answer this question. So Galaxy, he said, subbed and smashed the like. Well, I appreciate you, brother. So let's take a look at this. Trade Harvey for Benson and Gainwell. My roster is Jonathan Taylor, Woody Marks, RJ Harvey, Bajal Tootin, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Drake London, Adunze, Diggs, and Dubs, and you have a first-round bye. Well, congrats to you on your season so far. So trade Harvey for Benson and Gainwell. Nah, I would stay because Trey Benson's already been injured this season. Arizona's all over the place, and I don't trust the Gainwell situation. So I would say keep Harvey. I know people want to throw RJ Harvey out, but if you're in a keeper league, that's a guy to look at. He's a guy who gets involved. He's a guy who's had multiple touchdowns, and he's somebody that was underlooked coming into the NFL out of UCF. One, because UCF doesn't get enough national coverage. I do a lot. I talk about UCF for many years here, and I show them love, but I don't think that by and large there's other national voices that give them the love and the respect that they deserve. I mean, you talk about Dylan Gabriel. He started his career at UCF. So, I think there's some talent to look at, and I like RJ Harvey. He just like Cam Scadaboo was totally in the shadow of the season that Ashton Genty had. So I think you should keep Harvey based on the 2 guys that you'd be getting and based on the fact of, how much time is Gainwell really going to get, on top of looking at the fact that Benson came in and there's high hopes and then he got injured. So, God willing, Benson stays healthy, but I would keep Harvey. We're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break inside this fantasy football coverage, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub in the Fantasy Football Power Hour. We'll be back inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios right after this. Stay with us. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. We want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. We understand how hard it is to, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And a welcome back here to the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly inside of the wonderful Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're here talking about NFL Week 13 of the 2025-26 season, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. If you have not become a member on our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe right now by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And thank you to everybody that has, including Galaxy, who put in caps that he smashed that like button. So much appreciation to you for that. So with that being said, let's go to the Black Friday game. The Chicago Bears that have had themselves a good season, and Philadelphia, who's out here just doing their thing, right? Do Eagles squawk? Maybe. I'm going to say they do for this. So they've been squawking. The Bears have been clawing away. We've been having some fun. We look at the fact that the Eagles are 8-3, the Bears are 8-3. It's a huge Black Friday game. So when you're out there doing your thing, right, and you're out there living life and, you know, standing in line or sleeping outside or whatever it may be, I want you to make sure you watch this game. Some people have overlooked this game, which is on Amazon Prime, but it's at 3 p.m. It's in the middle of the day on Friday. It's perfect, right? You're gonna have turkey on Thursday. You're gonna watch football. You're gonna fall asleep with crumbs on your face and the half of your turkey sandwich on your stomach, and then you're gonna wake up, late morning, early afternoon, and you're gonna be able to watch this game. And if you're Black Friday shopping, well, like I said, there's three things you should be doing on Black Friday. Actually, 4. Thank God that you woke up. God willing, we all do. Spend time with your family. And then watch and listen to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in the morning. And then watch and listen to the game at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Bears at Eagles in the afternoon. And let us be your Black Friday buddy wherever you go. So who should you play in this game? DeAndre Swift. He's going up against his old team. That's either, it goes one way or another. They either ball the heck out and fantasy value goes sky high, or they get shut the heck down. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to lean on DeAndre. I'm going to show him some love here. I like Roma Dunze in this game, Colston Loveland, DeAndre Swift. I got a little bit of love for DJ Moore in the flex position. I don't know if I'd play Caleb Williams in this game. On the other side of it, I like Jalen Hurts. Now, Saquon Barkley's on the injury report. He has a groin injury, so, Tank Bigsby might be getting some love and some time and whatnot. But, yeah, I don't even know why they brought Tank in, but maybe it's for moments like this because they also have A.J. Dillon, so it didn't really make sense. And you brought in, and you got A.J. and you got Tank, and these are both big body guys, ton of muscle, built like rocks. Like, they could play the Thing in Fantastic Four. All they would have to do is paint them orange because they already look like giant rocks. So... And I've had the opportunity of interviewing Tank Bigsby and covering A.J. Dillon, so I feel very spoiled. A.J. Brown is worth the play, though. If Saquon doesn't go in this game, then look to A.J. Dillon or Tank Bigsby. Maybe you want to flex them out. If you're going to play 3 or 4 running backs, I'd consider them your third or your fourth. But Jalen Hurts, yes. A.J. Brown, yes. Devontae Smith, chest injury, didn't practice on Tuesday. So I like Dallas Goedert, I like A.J. Brown, and I like Jalen Hurts. But I temper my expectations of Jalen Hurts down a little bit with these injuries. But, I mean, listen, this team's figured out ways to gut it out. Philly doesn't have to score a lot of points to beat you, so I'd consider playing their defense and special teams. I'd look at Jahan Dotson if Devontae Smith doesn't go. That could be a waiver wire or free agency pickup for you to have a sleeper out there at your wide receiver flex position. Just something for you to think about. But, yeah, I like this. DeAndre Swift going up against his old team. But Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, I'm feeling some good stuff. And one of the running backs is going to do well for Philly. It's just, who do you want to roll the dice on if Saquon doesn't go? Do you want to do it on A.J. Dillon or do you want to do it on Tank Bigsby? And, I think either one of them could have a good game, but who's going to get the touches is kind of left to be seen. So you got to roll the dice a little bit. Rams at the Carolina Panthers. We look at the Rams that have had themselves a good season out in Los Angeles and beyond. And Carolina's had themselves a good season too. Keep in mind, Carolina was the worst team in the country 2 years in a row, and now Carolina's 500 at 6-6. The Rams are 9-2. So how about it for them? I like Matty Stafford in the game. I like Kyron Williams. I like Puka Nacua. I just love saying the name. I don't know why I said it like that, but that's how I said it. I like Devontae Adams as well, so I look forward to playing them all in this matchup. Rico Dowdle, he's had himself a pretty good season. I don't hate him going out in this game, and I love Tetaroa McMillan, and I can say that I was behind him, cheering him on, hoping, thinking good things of him when he was in his last season in college playing for the Arizona Wildcats before he came into the NFL. I believe he's leading all rookie wide receivers in receptions and yards. So I like Tetaroa McMillan in the game. I like Rico Dowdle in the game. And to Leggett to quit, Xavier Leggett, you might want to flex him out in this. Could go quiet, but he's a guy where it's like he's a wide receiver 3 because he's either going to get you something or he might get you a whole lot of nothing. I mean, it's either am I going to get some points? I remember one week I took him off my team because I needed to fill a spot, and I was like, this isn't a guy that's consistent. So I took him off the team. I go, watch him do well. Guy balled out, had probably the week of his life in the NFL so far. Put him back on my team, and he got quiet again. So basically, if I take him off my team, you should play him. But Xavier Legette, somebody to maybe think about. Steel City Sideline, I love that name, man. Shout out to your name. I appreciate that name so much. Like, that's a really, really cool name. So Steel City, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's see what we got here. So make sure to do that. I'm going to answer your question. But let's see. Trade McBride for Rashee Rice. Man, that's interesting. You have Ferguson. I mean, here's my thing. You already have another tight end. Jake Ferguson does some good stuff. And Trey McBride is in an offense that is so sporadic. Like, it's not a consistent offense. Now, I do like Jacoby Brissett. Anybody who watched Jacoby in college at NC State, where I first heard about him because I cover the entire ACC. So anybody that saw him back then or saw him step in with the Patriots or the Colts or wherever he's been, I think with the Browns and now with the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is one of the best backup quarterbacks you can have in the nation. So, you know, I'm not going to undercut him and say that they can't get the ball to McBride, but, I mean, Rashee Rice, like I said, Kansas City's trending up. Arizona, you know, they're Arizona. They don't look. I just wonder how long they're going to stay with this Kyler Murray thing because it's not working. And I'm never going to wish that somebody loses their job. I'm never, ever going to do that. Now, you know, I might tell you to turn your badge in if you're a media person and you don't tell the truth, but that's not me hoping that you lose your job. That's me asking you to do your job. So I don't mind the trade, Steel City, because you have Ferguson. So Ferguson has shown up because when they let Dalton Schultz go and he went to the Houston Texans, I didn't like that. And, you know, then Ferguson stepped up and I'm like, all right, well, you know, at least you had somebody waiting in the wings. So I'm okay with that trade. I mean, it depends on what wide receivers you have too, right? So Steel City, if you want to send me your wide receivers, let me know so I could give you a full, but like at first glance, I'm okay with that move. DP, thanks for being here. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. DP said, drop which two of these tight ends? Strange, Schultz, Loveland, and Fannin. Not the last two. Loveland's had himself an awesome rookie season. So has Fannin. So I would drop the first two. You have Chase and Jefferson at wide receiver? Oh, man. Well, you're loaded, bro. So, listen, I like Trey McBride. I was high on Trey McBride in his first year, and everybody, it seemed like everybody figured out what his name was now when I liked him when he came into the NFL. Just like James Cook. I was talking high about James Cook, interviewed him when he was playing for Georgia and won a national championship, and then everybody was talking about James Cook the year after, you know, well, more than a year after I was talking about him. So, you know, I like you keeping McBride, but you have Ferguson. If you can get Rashee Rice with what you have, I mean, that's a really good offense. What you would have at wide receiver, Steel City. So I'm okay with that. DP said drop two. DP, I'm going to tell you drop Strange and Schultz. Even though I like them both. Because Fannin and Loveland, I'm not going to tell you to drop. And if they want to pick up Ollie Gordon, you have Achane in the Rams defense. You have Philly too for two of those. Okay. So, I mean, I'd like to know who else is out there in free agency because I don't know if I tell you to take Ollie Gordon, but I like the Rams defense. I mean, the team's 9-2, and they're doing good things. Now, Cheeseball, you got a question for me as well. Some interesting names, man. And Cheeseball, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Cheeseball is asking me a question here. Let's see what Cheeseball has. New sub here. Need some advice. I got offered Tyrone Tracy and A.J. Brown for Derrick Henry. I'm 7-5 and it's full PPR. It's full PPR. Okay. Well, Tyrone Tracy can catch out of the backfield, and A.J. Brown obviously has been a good receiver. By the way, somebody wrote to me in week 1 when like A.J. Brown didn't play well, and they're like, should I drop him? And I was like, bro, it's A.J. Brown. And now A.J. Brown's the number one guy. Devontae Smith's on the injury report. So, man. You got offered Tyrone Tracy and A.J. Brown for Derrick Henry. So, Cheeseballs, I'm going to need to know a little bit more information. So, let me know who your other running backs and wide receivers are. That's going to help me make a decision on that. I need a little more information on that one. Frosty, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. So let's get to Frosty's question here. I love the questions coming in. You guys have been great from all over the country. I think some people might have been outside of the country. We've had people from Hawaii, from the last state to join the United States of America. So shout out to Hawaii as well. Frosty said, I'm projected to lose this week, but need to win a lock a playoff spot. I need the points. Which three do I play? Out of Rico Dowdle, Jalen Warren, Odunze, Pittman, and Brian Thomas Jr. Frosty said, got you. So, all right, appreciate you. Let's see here. Rico, Jalen Warren. Jalen's playing Buffalo, and Buffalo's just been friggin' awful lately. Good question. So, I like Roma Dunze. So this is to you, Frosty. I like Rome. I like Rome. What else we got? Which three do I play? Out of Rico, Jalen, Odunze, Pittman, and Brian Thomas Jr. Pittman's playing Houston. And he's talking about Rico has to go up against the number one run defense, right? So I'm going to say Rome. I'm going to say Pittman. Yeah. I'm going to say Rome. I'm going to say Pittman. I don't know what is going on right now. I'm trying to answer your question here. Rome, I'm trying to type Rome, Pittman. Let's see here. Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, Brian Thomas, he's been hurt too. I'm going to say Jalen Warren. Those are the three I'm going to pick. I mean, I like Brian Thomas Jr. I really do. But I'm going to go with those three for you at first glance here, Frosty. And then what I see, IDK what I do. I think that's the name here. So what I see, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. They said good morning to you. If you got a question, make sure you send it in. But what I see, make sure to subscribe for sure. And if you got a question, shoot it over. Let's see what else we got here. So DP said, I'm currently 10-2, trying to prep for the playoffs. Should I keep 3 of those? Just picked up Schultz, high on him because of the targets he's been getting. So should I drop only one of those tight ends? I mean, if you're going to drop one DP, I drop Strange. I'm not typically for keeping 3 tight ends, but I understand, Houston trending up and you wanting to keep Schultz. I would definitely keep Loveland and Fannin. But if you want to keep Schultz, I'm okay with that. I mean, the Rams defense, I would definitely, I'd look to get them if you can. So, let's see here. Frosty says, so Frosty wrote that to me. And then I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions here. So Cheeseballs said, running backs, Gentry, Marks, as well as Kenneth Walker III, Bajal Tootin. Okay. So your best running back's Derrick Henry. And your wide receivers are Nico, Pickens, Sutton, Tataroa, Waddle, and Myers. Cheese, I'd probably stay, man. I wouldn't trade because I don't want you to get rid of Derrick Henry. You got good wide receivers. And you're welcome. CKX, Rome for Zay, which side wins? So, and make sure, let's see here. CKX, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. So, appreciate you being here. What do you got for me? Rome for Zay. Bro, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question because Rome is the guy, but like he disappeared during this. I mean, there's that one game where like he got targeted one time, he didn't catch anything. Like it was wild. So, I mean, I like Zay, but it depends on the health of Lamar Jackson, right? I mean, he still gets some good things. If it's between Rome and Zay this season right now, I would say Zay over Rome at the moment, just because Zay could do a lot of different things. And then she said, regarding the Henry trade, he also wants Nico. Should I counter Nico for Tracy and AJ? No, because I like Nico Collins, and that offense at Houston's getting better. DP, curious why you're low on Strange. Just had 5 catches for 90 yards first game back. I was originally thinking to drop Fannin of those 4. It's not that I'm low on Strange. It's that you gave me 4 good tight ends, and I had to rank them. And I rank him last of those 4. I'm actually a big fan of the Jaguars are my team. So, I like Brenton Strange. But I'm trying to be impartial here because I think it's a cardinal sin to be partial as a broadcaster. Like, I cheer for the Jaguars, but you'll hear me on the show say they'll win. There's times where I say they'll lose. There's times where I tell you to play somebody. There's times where I tell you not to because, you got to be impartial when you're a broadcaster. I don't like listening to partial broadcasters. So, yeah, Cheese said thank you. You're welcome, man. I'm happy to help you. Good questions from everybody. Let's get into San Fran at Cleveland. Let's make sure we get this one in here. So, San Francisco at the Cleveland Browns. We're going to go with the road team first. Brock Purdy, I mean, that was an ugly game that they had against Carolina on Monday Night Football, was it not? So let's go to, I like Mac Jones. I feel like you ride the hot hand. Like, Mac's done so well. But, Brock comes back and he's your starter and you go to Brock. And, you beat the Panthers 20-9. But what did he throw? 3 interceptions in the first half? So, he had 3, and then he had a touchdown, 23 of 32, 193 yards for Brock. McCaffrey does well, whoever the quarterback is. He's just great. He could throw the ball, too, out of Stanford. 24 for 89, 3.7. He had a touchdown. Brian Robinson, 7 carries for 40 yards, 5.7 yards a carry, worth noting. Kittle, 6 catches, 10 targets, 78 yards. CMC, 7 catches out of the backfield, 7 targets, 53. Perfect there. Juwan Jennings had a touchdown, 5 catches and 7 targets. Pearsall, 2 catches on 4 targets. So, they're playing the Browns. So I'm going to call Brock Purdy. I'm going to call him a mid-range quarterback 1. I want to call him a high-range, but I don't like the way he played against Carolina. So I'll call him mid-range. I like CMC. I like Kittle. And I like Juwan Jennings. If you're in a deep league and you got to flex somebody out, maybe you flex out Brian Robinson Jr. And maybe you look at Ricky Pearsall. But Ricky's kind of, I'm 50-50 on him right now fantasy-wise. So Juwan, George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. Let's go to Cleveland. Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel is cleared to play, but Shador is going to be the starter once again this week. I'm happy that Dylan's out of concussion protocol. That's good to see, and I'm hoping the best for both quarterbacks. Let's take a look at this. I appreciate the help. Do you think Strange targets go down with Brian Thomas Jr. back? They could. See, the thing with Brenton Strange, DP, and me covering the Jaguars for over 13 years, I like Brenton Strange, but he's a guy where, he might have a touchdown. Now, do I think he's trending up? Potentially. Do I think he's becoming... I think Trevor Lawrence likes to utilize the tight end. He did it with Evan Engram, why I think it's stupid that they let Evan go. But, Brenton Strange, he can show up and he can be good for you. And there could be games where he's not utilized. I feel like Fannin's been utilized. I feel like, Loveland's definitely been utilized. And I think Schultz is a guy, when he's healthy, he's utilized. So because Brenton Strange is kind of in that area of, are they going to use him every game or is he going to disappear in some games? That's the only reason why I have him 4 out of the 4 you gave me. But if they put Brenton Strange in this offense and Trevor Lawrence does what he does, which is target the tight end, I think having Brenton Strange is a good problem to have. So you gave me a tough decision. You gave me 4 tight ends I like. So, and they're young, right? They're young in the game. I mean, Fannon's a rookie. Loveland's a rookie. Brenton Strange isn't that far into his career. I mean, Dalton Schultz is the vet. He's the oldest guy, right? He's the old head in the room. But I like them all. Now, the Raiders could have drafted Shedeur Sanders. They didn't. How did he respond? He kicked their tail in Vegas on the road, 24-10. He only threw 20 passes. He was 11 of 20. He was barely over 50%. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Quinshawn Judkins, 16 carries, 47, 2.9, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Dylan Sampson, what'd I tell y'all last week? I told y'all, I said Dylan Sampson, he was on my radar. I mentioned his name to you. And he had a touchdown out of the backfield. 2 catches, 3 targets, led the team with 59 yards. Harold Fannin, 4 catches, 6 targets for 40 yards. So it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, they're throwing to Harold Fannin. They've had multiple quarterbacks in Cleveland. They've had Joe Flacco this year, they've had Dylan Gabriel, and they've had Shedeur Sanders, and Harold Fannin Jr. has been involved with all of them, which is why I wouldn't let go of Harold Fannin. So in this game against San Francisco, I'm going to call Judkins a flex. I'm going to call Judkins a running back 3. I'm going to call Sampson a 4. So what I'm really saying to you is I hope you have better running backs because of this matchup against San Fran, but I'd still consider putting them out there. I just wouldn't make them my 1 or my 2. And every quarterback has their guy. So you see Jerry Jeudy targeted 3 times, Isaiah Bond targeted twice. And so I would look to, if you're going to flex somebody out, somebody's on injury, you need some help, I look to Isaiah Bond or Jerry Jeudy as a flex wide receiver. Your best bet this week is Harold Fannin Jr. Now, David Njoku's back, and I hope he does well. They've been using them both, but I like Harold Fannin Jr., and I like Quinshawn Judkins, but Fannin's the one that I would start. The other guys would be flex guys that I mentioned to you. And DP said, thanks, you're welcome. I appreciate you being here. So let's go on to the next one. We got to run through these pretty quick to be done by noon or before noon. So let's go to another divisional matchup. We got Houston at Indianapolis. Let's go to Houston first. So the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. CJ Stroud's on the injury report with the concussion. He's questionable in this game. So, I mean, that makes Davis Mills, he's done some good things, and I liked him out of Stanford. So I'm going to look at what Houston did most recently, and then we'll talk about Houston. I got a question that came in here from Trey Duncan, or Tra Duncan. I'm going to say it's Trey Duncan, but appreciate you being here. I'm going to call you Dunk. So, Dunk, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate you being here, though. And you sent me a question. I'm going to answer that question after we take a look at this game. So let's go to Houston. Houston's on a 3-game winning streak. They just beat the Bills 23-19. Like, what's up with that, right? On Thursday Night Football. Davis Mills, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 16-30, 153, showing people. I liked him coming into the league. So he's showing people why maybe he shouldn't be a backup. Right? Woody Marks, 16 for 74, 4.6 yards a carry. Nico Collins caught all 3 thrown his way, 55 yards. Christian Kirk had a touchdown. Jaden Higgins had a touchdown. And Dalton Schultz, 1 catch, 4 targets for only 8 yards. Nick Chubb, 6 carries for 16 yards, 2.7 yards per carry. So for Houston, we're going to Houston first since they're playing at Indianapolis. I'm going to go, with Davis Mills out there, I'm going to say Woody Marks is a running back too. I like Nico Collins. I'm going to tell you to flex out Higgins or Kirk because every quarterback has their guy. And Dalton Schultz, I'm going to call him a mid-range tight end 1. On the other side, for the Colts, they're fighting to be the best team in the country. They're fighting to be the best team in the AFC. They're 8-3 right now. I like Jonathan Taylor. I like Michael Pittman. I like Alec Pierce. I like Tyler Warren. So I look for all of them. Probably flex out Pierce. And then I'm going to answer Dunk's question, and then we're going to take a step aside, and we'll get back into we'll come back from the fast break here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios with New Orleans and Miami. But Dunk, let me get to your question here. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. What do you think of Pittman for AJ and Shakir? It's a must-win week for me. I'm starting either Tracy and Benson, but my running back too is Tajay Spears. So what do I think of Pittman for AJ and Shakir? So you're going to trade Pittman and you're going to get AJ and Shakir? So Dunk, let me know, who are you getting in the trade? Okay. So you're going to get AJ Brown and Shakir. So this is what I need from you. I need to know who your running backs and wide receivers are. And that'll help me answer your question more fully and completely. So you get those together, send them over to me, and we'll take a step aside. We'll be back after our final fast break. We'll be talking about New Orleans at Miami right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is the Fantasy Football Power Hour, probably presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Stay with us.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout delivery and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why Why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carbolite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carbolite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Get you closer to all of those awesome teams that we talk about all the time. NBA, NFL, as well as your MLB teams. Of course, they have hockey, they have wrestling, soccer, and more, including Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, One Piece. Head over to GG Cards and Breaks today and be a big kid. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and Sundays from 10 to 5. Big time thanks to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Make sure you go and see Chick-fil-A today. Let them know that DT sent you to Megan Sorber and her team. Megan and I spoke before it even opened on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. And she told me, hey, I was a student going to school working at Chick-fil-A. And now she's an owner-operator that has hired your kids that are students that are going to school and working at Chick-fil-A. So who better to lead you than someone who's already seen the terrain? Make sure you go out and support Megan and her team at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. And make sure you go over there and get the peppermint chip shake, but leave one for me as well. Double drive-through. You can't miss the giant brick building, and you can order on the app as well. Chick-fil-A DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. We look forward to seeing you out there today. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, Dunk said this to me, said, Aaron Jones and Shakir, sorry. So Aaron Jones. My running backs are Benson, Tracy, Spears right now. My wide receivers are Jack Smith and Jigba, Pittman, Rome, Jennings, Addison. Quarterbacks are Baker and Trevor Lawrence. If it makes a difference, tight ends Hunter Henry and Strange. So, all right. So Trey, you said, what do you think of Pittman for AJ and Shakir? So you're going to give up Michael Pittman and you're going to get Aaron Jones and Khalil Shakir? No, I wouldn't do it. There's other trades to make. I don't trust Aaron Jones, and Khalil Shakir isn't consistent. And Pittman, I told people to not sleep on Pittman. You got a new quarterback, so you never know what's going to happen. And look at how well he's done. So I would look. I think you need running back help, so I would look for running back help, but a different trade. I don't like that trade because you're getting to what's going to happen with a guy that you're giving up, where it's like you're getting two question marks and you're getting someone who's an exclamation point right now. I mean, there's some good stuff going on. Let's go to New Orleans at Miami, and we'll start with the road team. So we'll start with New Orleans. New Orleans been all over the place this season. They're a team you can't count out, and so is Miami. Like, Miami's had some good moments too, 4-7. And, but you look at New Orleans as 2-9, just absolutely awful. Alvin Kamara, he's questionable with an MCL injury. I mean, Kendre Miller's already out. Tyler Shuck, I mean, he's your quarterback here. and I covered him in college when he went to Louisville. Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson, I'd look to them. At this point, I don't even know. I mean, maybe put Spencer Rattler back in since he was getting the ball out to Juwan Johnson at least. But, I mean, do I feel great about anybody on New Orleans? No. But if I was going to play somebody, it would be Olave and Juwan Johnson. On Miami side, Devon Achane. I mean, that's plug and play. I don't have to tell you to do that, but I'll tell you. I like Jalen Waddle in the game because New Orleans is so bad. I'd consider putting Malik Washington out there as a flex, but I like Achane and I like Jalen Waddle. We got another question that came in here from Lil Dooza. So, dude, I love these names that I've been getting from y'all. Your YouTube names are really cool. So, Lil, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Can't believe I'm saying this, but start 3 full PPR. Jefferson, McMillan, Wendell Robinson, Christian Watson, and Troy Franklin. Start 3. Well, J.J. McCarthy's not going to be playing. And Minnesota's playing Seattle in Seattle. And I don't want to tell you to not play Justin Jefferson, but that's kind of a toss-up right now. I like McMillan. I mean, Wendell Robinson's playing on Monday night. He's done some good things. Christian Watson might have a good game, but Detroit's trying to avenge that loss the first week of the season. And Troy Franklin, I like him, and I'm not surprised that he is connecting so much with the quarterback that he obviously had when he was in college, and they're playing Sunday Night Football against a horrible Washington team. So I'm going to say Tetaroa McMillan. I'm going to say Wendell Robinson. And then it's a toss-up between Troy Franklin and Justin Jefferson. And the reason why I say that is Troy Franklin's got a good matchup and Justin Jefferson doesn't have his quarterback. But make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have a follow-up, then make sure you send it over to me. Happy to help you because it's hard for me to choose that last one. But I think Wendell and McMillan. Let's go to Atlanta. I mean, let me do something really quick here. Let me look at Justin Jefferson by the numbers here really quick. So let's go Justin Jefferson. I mean, in this last game, he still had 4 catches, 6 targets, 48 yards, still led the team, even though it was a bad day. I mean, let's look at so Jefferson, let's see here. So he's had 44 yards and a touchdown, 81, 75, 126, 123, 79, 74, 47 and a touchdown, 37, 61, 48. But he only has 2 touchdowns this season. So he said, I don't know, a lot of people feel more confident with Max Brosmer and want to see him. Well, that's rough. I mean, Minnesota's in a rough state right now. And it could go anywhere. So I feel better about Franklin and the matchup, and it gives you somebody on Sunday Night Football. So I'm going to lean more on Franklin than Justin Jefferson, but I totally understand if you pick Justin Jefferson, Lil Dooza. Jacob Term here. Jacob, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I'm going to answer your question here. Let's see what you got for me. Trade away Kincaid for Brian Thomas Jr. My other tight end's Hunter Henry. Well, Kincaid's the best receiver the Buffalo has, and Brian Thomas Jr. has not had a great season, and he's been injured. So, Jacob, that's a big roll of the dice. And I don't think Hunter Henry is great enough in fantasy for this to make sense. Who are your other wide receivers? That'll help me out here in making that decision for you. More information is always the best, folks. So if you ask me a question about, should I trade away this guy for that guy, let me know the rest of your team at those positions at least, so it can help me to make sure, because I don't want to like tell you to trade like, oh, that's a good deal, but you're trading a running back for a wide receiver, and then your running backs aren't good, and you have good wide receivers, and I'm sitting here going, well, I shouldn't have told you that. So Jacob said Rome, CD, Devontae Adams, Judy and Reed, and Ricky Pearsall. All right, you got a good wide receiver room, man. I'd keep Kincaid. If Hunter Henry's your only other bet at tight end, I'd keep Kincaid. Kirk Cousins is the quarterback for Atlanta. Let's get into this one. I like Bijan Robinson. I mean, listen, Atlanta, I thought their offense was going to really start going with Michael Penix, and it did, but it was inconsistent. And then he got sat down, and now he's out for the rest of the year. And God willing, he'll be back next year, and he'll be good to go. I mean, Kirk Cousins, Bijan and Algier both got involved, which I love to see, 14 carries and 12 respectively. Bijan caught the 2 out of the backfield thrown to him. Kyle Pitts got targeted more than anybody with 5. Darnell Mooney got out there as well. I mean, Drake London's been injured, so he's questionable for this game. God willing, he's able to go. But I like Bijan Robinson. I like Tyler Algier. Bijan a 1, Tyler a 2, low 2, high 3. Kyle Pitts, mid-range tight end 1. I like Mooney as well, but I probably flex out Mooney if I can. For the Jets, Breece Hall. I mean, what do you want me to tell you for the New York Jets? They're not great. They haven't been great. So I'm going to 23-10 here. They lost on the road to the Ravens. Breece was their top receiver and top running back. John Mechie did good, though, too, coming in with Adonai Mitchell. I mean, you can flex out John Mechie the third, and you can play Breece Hall because they're playing Atlanta, and I don't trust Atlanta's defense, and I haven't for a long time. So, yeah, I'm okay with those 2 guys for the Jets. And then Jacob, to go back to, I'd probably keep Kincaid. Let's go to Arizona and Tampa. Arizona, listen, I never count out Jacoby Brissett, and we've learned that you can't count out Baker Mayfield. I mean, he proved me wrong. I didn't necessarily think Baker was going to be out there doing big things after, everything we saw in Cleveland, but he's done well. I mean, it's crazy, though. People seem to do really well when they leave Cleveland. So, I mean, I would say, Arizona, and Baker's on the injury report too. But, shout out to Baker for resurrecting his career, and shout out to Jacoby Brissett. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's still questionable with an illness. Michael Wilson, I've been watching him for weeks now before Jacoby got the job. I like Michael Wilson in this game. Yeah, in a deep league, he could be a 2. Hopefully he's a 3 for you. I like Trey McBride in the game as well. On the other side for Tampa, Baker Mayfield, shoulder AC joint, he's questionable. Bucky's questionable with a shoulder injury too. So, we might see Teddy Bridgewater in this game. I like Sean Tucker in this game. I like Emeka Obuka, whoever the quarterback is. I like those 2 guys. I'm going to give Chris Godwin some love. And Tez Johnson, too. But I'm hoping that Baker plays. If Baker plays, I feel better about every guy I just told you about. And that's the real. Let's go to the next one here. Jacksonville at Tennessee. Another divisional matchup. The entire AFC South is playing each other this week with Houston at Indy and Jacksonville at Tennessee. Tennessee's awful. Jacksonville has not played well against teams that aren't good, and then they've played well against teams that are good, but then they found a way to come back in an overtime game against Arizona at Arizona and keep themselves from losing another game against a bad team. So, and they're in the playoff hunt. Tennessee's 1-10. I guess it worked out getting rid of Mike Vrabel, which I think was one of the dumbest coaching decisions ever. Or I should say, dumbest GM decisions and front office decisions of getting rid of a coach in NFL history. By the way, I thought Mike Vrabel should have been the Patriots head coach last year and look at what they're doing this year with him. So just saying, I like Trevor Lawrence in this game because he's playing a horrible defense and a horrible team. And listen, I'm not here to knock the players. I'm sure they're out there doing their thing and fighting and whatnot. I don't I shouldn't say. I don't trust this defense. I shouldn't say they're horrible. There's talent there, but I don't trust them. I like Trevor Lawrence. I like Travis Etienne. I like Jacoby Myers. I like Parker Washington. Brian Thomas Jr. is still questionable with an ankle injury, so just monitor that. And if he's unable to go, I like Brenton Strange a little bit more in the game. On the other side of it for Tennessee, I mean, if you want to flex out Pollard or Spears, I guess you can do that. I probably wouldn't be playing anybody on Tennessee. And we're in week 13. So you're either in your playoffs or you're about to be in your playoffs or you're fighting for a playoff spot in fantasy. If you're trusting Tennessee to get you out of this, I don't feel good about any of that. Let's go to Minnesota at Seattle. Like I said, JJ's not playing in the game. So I think this is going to be all Seattle. Not that they can't get the ball. I mean, listen, they've shown that they can get the ball out to Justin Jefferson, whoever the quarterback's going to be, and to Jordan Addison. But, Max Brosmer, at this point, why not put him out there? I've been wondering that. Like, why not showcase him and let him do his thing? And where else you going to go? You got JJ, who's probably not going to play. You got Carson Wentz, who's on IR. So you have to play Brosmer at this point. So, I mean, listen, backup quarterback, that's when you look to the tight end and to the running backs. So maybe this is the week to play Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason. Maybe this is the week to play TJ Hawkinson. I still like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, but I'm going to put them as wide receiver 2s just because we don't know what Max Brosmer is going to do, right? I still like them. I just don't know if I like them over a Troy Franklin playing Washington, who's been so bad. On the Seattle side, I like Kenneth Walker III. I like Jackson Smith and Jigba. I like Rashid Shaheed or Cooper Kupp as low end 2, high end 3. But yeah, I mean, I like Seattle. Listen, I think you should play Justin Jefferson. I just think that guys like Troy Franklin have a better matchup. But I don't want to be on the record of saying, don't play Justin Jefferson. You just never know what the backup quarterback's going to look like. Let's go to the Raiders at the Chargers. This is a battle of the AFC West. The Raiders. Shout out to the Boom. The Raiders are awful. And the Chargers are good. Chargers are good. They've gone through injury, which I think affects this record a little bit, but they're still 7-4. The Raiders are 2-9. Ashton Genty's on the injury report, and how could he not be? Who the hell is blocking for him? So, I mean, in this game, if you want to put out Brock Bowers or Trey Tucker, I understand, but I very, very, very much lower my expectations of this offense for the Raiders. On the other side, I like Justin Herbert. I like Kamani Vidal. He's the only healthy running back on this team right now. God willing, Haskins and Hampton and Harris will be okay. Hampton, he could return this week, so just watch that. If he returns, I'd put Hampton out there. If he doesn't, then I like Vidal. I like Ladd McConkey. I like Quentin Johnson. I like Aronde Gadsden, who's done a tremendous job, and he's back. So, yeah, I think this is all Chargers. This should be a blowout by the Chargers, but stranger things have happened. I think this should be like 41-7 Chargers, but we'll see. Let's look at Buffalo and Pittsburgh. So we're going to look at the Buffalo Bills right now, and then we'll go to Pittsburgh because Buffalo's the road team. So for Buffalo, I like Josh Allen. I like James Cook. Kincaid's injured. He's questionable. He's hamstring. That's not good. So if he's not able to go, I don't know if I'd play a tight end. I like that Gabe Davis is back in Buffalo, though. And Brandon Cooks, they just signed him. I mean, they need help because what's Shakir done that's been consistent? So I like Josh Allen. I like James Cook. If you want to take a flyer on Brandon Cooks or you want to take a flyer on Gabe Davis or you want to flex him out, go ahead. But they're on the road and they're playing Pittsburgh's defense. But Mason Rudolph might be the quarterback here. Aaron Rodgers is questionable with a wrist injury. If Rodgers doesn't go, I like Jaylen Warren either way, but if he doesn't go, then that changes a lot of stuff here. So let's look at Pitt's last game. with Mason Rudolph. So they lost 31-28 on the road at Chicago. Played a hell of a game. Mason had 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 24-31. Kenneth Gainwell, 10 carries, 92 yards. Jalen Warren, 18 for 68 and a touchdown. DK Metcalf, 2 carries, 12 yards, and a rushing touchdown for the receiver. Calvin Austin, who I love this. Calvin Austin, I covered him, I interviewed him at Memphis. I was hopeful of him in the NFL. I love that Mason Rudolph went to him because Aaron Rodgers was going to him too. And before Rodgers, we weren't really seeing Calvin Austin get the ball. 5 targets, 4 catches, 36 yards. Gainwell caught all 6 out of the backfield. So my apologies on this when I was talking about Gainwell before, because I didn't realize in my head he was still a Philadelphia Eagle, but he's on the other side of Pennsylvania, and he's on Pittsburgh. So I want to go back to a question here that somebody gave me about Gainwell. Trade Harvey for Benson and Gainwell. So Galaxy, I would make that trade and get Gainwell, especially with the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. So Galaxy, if you're listening, I'm going to go back there and I'm going to correct myself and I'm going to tell you to make that trade. Make that trade for Gainwell. Do it. I would. So I definitely would. And then, DK, 5 catches, 8 targets, 22 yards. So, Mason Rudolph's slinging it. And they're in Pittsburgh, and I like Pittsburgh's defense. So, I think Pittsburgh might win this game. I like Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. I like them both. I like Calvin Austin the third as a 2. If DK goes, I like him as a 2. Yeah. I like Roman Wilson was getting used a lot by Aaron Rodgers. So if Aaron Rodgers is able to go, then maybe you put Roman Wilson out there. He was targeted twice in the loss to Chicago on the road, and he didn't catch either one of them. So I don't know if I'd put him out there if it's not Aaron Rodgers. So now let's go to Sunday night, Monday night. If you have another question, send it in. We got so many today. You all kept me busy. Let's go to Denver at Washington. I think Denver is going to win this game. I think Washington, with all their injuries, they've just... Listen, I thought they were a team that could vie for the Super Bowl this year. And I said that before the preseason. It was like after the draft. It was very, 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 very early. And I don't think people should hold me to that prediction with all the injuries because, obviously guys don't... Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels have been out of a ton of games. So, and Austin Eckler, he got injured again. So, how can I... You know what I mean? It's like I'm making that prediction based on health. So in this game, I like Bo Nix. I'm going to call him a mid-range quarterback 1, but I like the matchup. I like R.J. Harvey, especially with J.K. Dobbins being out, which, God willing, his foot injury will heal and he'll be back soon. He gets injured every year, right? He does good things for Baltimore, he gets hurt. Does good things for the Chargers, he gets hurt. First season with Denver, he's doing well with R.J. Harvey, he gets hurt. So, God willing, J.K. will get healthy and stay healthy because the best ability is availability, and I just want to see him out there. So I like R.J. Harvey in the game. I like Troy Franklin in the game. I like Cortland Sutton in the game. Might give Evan Engram some love, but I'll call him like a mid to low range tight end 1. Great guy. Hell of a worker. So, and a man of God. I've interviewed him a bunch of times. I love talking with Evan Engram. Now, Jaden Daniels, he's questionable, and so is Terry McLaurin. If either one of them is able to go, I'd look at putting them in there, but maybe a Deebo Samuel or a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt or Chris Rodriguez Jr. or a Zach Ertz, but it depends on the quarterback, and it depends. Washington's just, they've been so bad, and they've been down and out, and, they're 3-8. They've lost 6 games in a row. Last game they won was at the Chargers, 27-10. Since then, they lost to the Bears, at the Cowboys, at the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Dolphins. And they just lost to the Dolphins 16-13. Mariota, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 20-30, 213. Shout out to my grandpa. for yards. Chris Rodriguez Jr., 15 for 79, 5.3 yards a carry. Mariota, 4 carries for 49 yards. Debo, 8 targets, 7 catches, 74 yards, a touchdown. Zach Ertz, 4 catches, 8 targets, 42 yards. So, I mean, like I told you, the guys I told you, right? I told you Debo, Chris Rodriguez, maybe Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, but Zach Ertz. I like Debo. I like Zach Ertz. And I like Debo as a low-end 2, high-end 3. I like Zach Ertz. And I like Rodriguez as a flex running back because Mariota can move the ball. But I like Denver's defense, and I like Bo Nix, and I think Denver's a lot better than Miami. So, not that Miami hasn't done some good things this year, but I think I lean on the side of Denver for sure. But if there's some guys that are able to go, that'd be good. Last one we're going to look at is a rematch, right? This is recalling the Super Bowl and being the thorn in the side of Tom Brady, and that being Eli mother-freaking Manning and Syracuse wide receiver alum David Tyree, who caught the ball on the back of his helmet and held it against his helmet getting to the ground. You got to play almost a perfect game to beat Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and those Patriots. And now you got to play a hell of a game to beat these Patriots. Well, Eli Manning and the crew found out how to do it before, but this Giants team not having Jackson Dart puts him in a predicament. Concussion protocol, God willing, he'll be okay. Listen, they ran a bunch of trick plays this past week. They had fun, and they got fantasy points. I can't knock the Giants for saying, you know what? We fired our head coach. We got nothing to lose. We're at the Lions. They lost by a touchdown, 34-27. It's like, let's just go do our thing, man. We're 2-10. Let's run some trick plays. Let's put Jameis Winston out there to potentially catch a touchdown pass, which he did. So, I mean, Wendell Robinson's doing a hell of a job. I told you all, I said, listen, don't be getting rid of Wendell Robinson. With Malik Neighbors out, they got to throw it to somebody. Did I not say that to you? And Wendell Robinson, he's been awesome in fantasy. So in this game, I like Wendell Robinson because, again, they got to throw it to someone. I like Tyrone Tracy because he's involved in the backfield. He had 20 carries in the last game for 62 yards. He also caught 3 of 4 thrown to him out of the backfield. Theo Johnson caught 3 of 5 thrown his way. Wendell had 14 targets. He caught 9 of them, had 156 yards against the Lions defense and a touchdown. So there's a lot to be said about that. So I like Tracy in the game. I like Wendell Robinson. I got some love for Theo Johnson, but I'm going to call him mid-range. On the Patriots side, I like Drake May. And if you're wondering why I did that, you need to look up Soulja Boy and his interview about Drake, the rapper. But I like Drake May. Travion, I don't care if Ramondre Stevenson's healthy or not. Travion Henderson's a guy that I go with no offense to Ramondre. It's just fantasy-wise. I like Travion Henderson. I drafted him. I covered him in the college football playoff. I was there for the national championship. I was there for the semi and the Cotton Bowl against Texas. I like Travion Henderson. I like Stephon Diggs. I like Hunter Henry in the game. Keyshawn Booty. Maybe you flex him out, but I think the Patriots got a lot of good stuff. I think the Giants got a lot of good stuff because they've been showing trick plays. So why not have fun and make it happen and do some good things? So I think there's a lot of fantasy value on Monday night in a game that features the two teams that played in the Super Bowl against each other. Trey said, I ended up doing Jawan Jennings for Kareem Hunt since I could spare. So you have Benson, Tracy, and Spears. And you brought in Kareem Hunt and you let go of Jawan Jennings. With Addison, Rome, Pittman, and Jackson Smith and Jimmy. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think you needed some running back help, so I'm okay with that. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco's healthy, so I don't know how much Kareem's going to get, but we know he can catch out of the backfield, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I mean, I'd like for you to get like a starter at running back, but I'm okay with that. So with that being said, this has been Week 13 in the 2025-26 season in the Fantasy Football Power Hours, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. You can watch all the games in the NFL as well as so much more by going to 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. You can also go to the Wildcat and get takeout and delivery, 315-487-2222 for those of you living in central and upstate New York. Thank you for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, wherever you are in the world. We thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call. And, of course, many thanks to all of those of you that go to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Like, subscribe, follow, and stay connected to us on all these channels. We appreciate it. Big time thanks to our supporters in Central and Upstate New York, Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek, where we will be this Saturday for our final Wake Up Call Game Day live broadcast centered around Syracuse football. We'll be there at noon. The game will happen at 3 p.m. We'll be there this Saturday, November 29th at noon. So come and see Wake Up Call Game Day. Get some awesome drinks and awesome food before the game. And I know the season isn't what a lot of fans wanted, of course, but we can still have fun at Myers Creek and we can still support our community and local business together. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Game Point Sports Complex, Mother's Cupboard, where I have my own sandwich, the Cuse Mac Mother. Go and try it today. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Cut it up and have it with some syrup. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. I want to thank the last show I got to do with Nolan Cass, where we changed things up and we focused on the food, and you watched the food get eaten while we had a conversation about Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse from the admission side and the sports side. Awesome new way to do things. We're always changing things up and being innovative, and I thank Mother's Cupboard and Pete Green and Amy and everybody over there that has been so good to us over the years. It continues to be and has allowed me to have a sandwich there that's done so well with the community. I thank you all for ordering that sandwich. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding. Make sure you get your dog in there for the holidays. You got to call quick, and they will fill up. Brian's Landing, and where we will be today. In less than an hour, I'm going to go to a Liverpool high school girls basketball scrimmage on site at Liverpool. And then at 3 p.m., I'm going to Avicoli's with that same Liverpool girls basketball team, and we're having a pre-Thanksgiving meal together at Avicoli's. So come and celebrate with us before the holidays, before Thanksgiving. Come out to Avicoli's for a midday live broadcast and have some pizza and some great Italian food on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool. The scrimmage is at 1. Our broadcast with Liverpool girls basketball is at 3 p.m. at Avicoli's, and we look forward to you supporting the kids and coming out to our show there today. The Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can find the Bobcats every single month with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining us where sports meets life. You can find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. You'll also find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every single Tuesday during Bearcat Time with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining us from Binghamton University in the Southern Tier, an hour away from my hometown of Syracuse, New York, and definitely always worth the drive. You can find Binghamton on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your lasers every single month, every other Wednesday. So bi-monthly here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find your lasers here with me bi-monthly every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, including today where I had an awesome conversation with Charlie Foster. So make sure you check out our Laser Lounge by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find our OCC playlist on our YouTube channel. We've already underpromised and over-delivered and given you a bunch of Laser Lounge specials outside of our every other Wednesday broadcast in just a couple months of working here with OCC, which I've wanted to do for a long time because I believe they should be put on the map. And you have helped me set awesome numbers with OCC. The amount of people that have been watching and listening to our interviews has been tremendous, and I only pray that it gets bigger because these kids, these student athletes, these coaches, and Onondaga Community College as a whole should have the love and support. They just won a national title in cross country, and a shout out to Paul Clark. You know, they've won national titles. When we look at men's lacrosse, they have done a tremendous job. I mean, Charlie just won for his weight class over the weekend in a massive collegiate wrestling championship that was going on there at OCC for all of New York State and the NCAA and NJCAA institutions. So it wasn't just junior colleges. You could be competing against anybody. So OCC does so many great things, and somebody needs to put them on the map. I'm happy that they've trusted me to do it, and I promise you, Onondaga Community College, if you don't know this already, that the Lasers are in good hands. You can find them on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. So for the Fantasy Football Power Hour, shout out to the Wildcat Sports Pub. Go and watch your games over there and go and see them throughout the week and order takeout and delivery by calling 315-487-2222. I got a question from Galaxy. Galaxy, I'm so happy you came back because I had some stuff. You said trademarks for Benson. So I was taking a look at what you were asking for. I would do the original trade, Galaxy. So I went back and looked at everything. Trade Harvey for Benson and Gainwell. So I would do the original trade. Because I went back and I looked at it, and I'm so happy by the grace of God that you were still listening or you came back around, because I didn't want you to not hear the message. So I would do the original trade and get Gainwell and Benson. So make sure you do that. Do the original one. With that being said, have a beautiful day. Happy Thanksgiving. Please be good to your family. Please, if you have conversations of differing views, listen. Don't swear, don't yell, don't call people names. Listen. You might be able to learn something. You can always learn something, honestly. So listen before you respond. Love each other. Celebrate family. Family and friends are precious. Friends that become family are precious. So have a beautiful, beautiful, healthy, safe, and happy Thanksgiving. I pray that God looks out for you and your loved ones, as I know he always does. And I pray that you heal and handle well whatever comes your way. I pray your loved ones in heaven are with you and you with them, and that you feel them and that they're never that far away, and that you know that heaven is real and you know that your loved ones are with you and you with them. Don't waste a moment of your lives. Happy Thanksgiving. Be thankful every day, not just here at the latter part of November every year, and just be safe. Shout out to Charlie Foster and Paul Seeley, two amazing guests. Shout out to the Wildcat, an amazing place for food and drinks and watching the games and being with family, friends, on a date, with your team, whatever it may be. They're such a full-service, multi-purpose place that I love so much, and they're one of our longest-standing partners. So shout out to Danny Tome and his team that have done an amazing job at making the Wildcat Sports Pub a staple in central and upstate New York, and to anybody who travels into the community. I bring my people out there when they're visiting me, so go out and see them. Once again, thanks to Charlie, thanks to Paul, thanks to you. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. In the meantime, God bless, no stress, do your best. And we got one more show before Thanksgiving. So even though we're going to be off tomorrow, we're still giving you a show essentially that counts for tomorrow, right? As we'll be live from Avicoli's. Come and have a midday lunch with us and support the kids. Liverpool girls basketball will scrimmage at 1, and they will join me down the road from the high school at 3 p.m. from Avicoli's live today. Come out and see us, get some food, support the community. I love you all. God bless, no stress, do your best. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, this is Wake Up Call. You are amazing, and you're worth it.